Gladius, a tactical role-playing game developed by the late LucasArts and published by Activision in 2003. And today I'm going to look at the PS2 version, but it was also on GameCube and Xbox. And on the cover we have a lovely painting of the main male character in the game, Valens. It looks like something you get in the Gladiator movie, and inside the box we have a manual that is trying to disguise itself as a League training manual. Manuals. I miss those. Gladius was just one of those games that for some reason went under the radar, even though it received good reviews from the critics and the publications of the time. I personally only got this game because I saw a review of it in one of the magazines at the time, and I got to play it on a demo I got with the official Xbox magazine, and I thought it was quite different and interesting and worth a buy. This was a few years before my love affair with the Fire Emblem games, and Gladius was the game that got me into the genre in the first place. And thanks to it, tactical RPGs are one of my favourite genres. So let's take a look at the game that started me on tactical RPGs. In this game you start your own gladiator school and travel around the world trying to beat the various arenas and their different challenges. At the start of the game you're given a choice between starting off in Imperia, which is essentially this game's version of the Romans, or you can start off in Nordag, which is this game's version of the Vikings. If you start off in Imperia you'll play as Valens, the son of a famous gladiator on his quest to live up to the legacy of his father. And if you start off in Nordag, you play the barbarian princess Ursula, and you'll follow her on basically the same journey. Both these characters have completely different stories, so it's definitely good if you want to do a second playthrough, but you'll still be doing the same stuff. With whichever character you've chosen, you travel around the game's 4 main areas in your quest to be the best like no one ever was. Most of these locations are basically ripped wholesale from real life civilizations. You start in whichever area you've chosen and you'll have to work your way through each area in order, until you work your way to the big World Cup of the Gladiator world. As with many tactical RPGs, the battles in this game consist of commanding your various units to try and take down the enemy. Instead of opting for the Fire Emblem system of moving all your units in a turn with your opponent doing the same after, in Gladius it goes by whichever units are the fastest. Attacks work on a rock paper scissors system, with the different weight classes where heavy beats medium, medium beats light, and light beats heavy. Support and arcane units are neutral in this system. You can also position your characters on higher terrain to inflict extra damage, and attacking your enemy from behind or the side will have a similar effect. One of the unique things about the game in terms of tactical RPGs is how you attack. Whenever you go to hit an enemy or use a ability, you'll have to complete a combination of timed button presses to enhance your attacks. Bugging them up and your attacks will do less damage or no damage whatsoever. These actions range from a golf game like meter where you have to land the cursor in the right area, to straight up timing multiple button presses. At the start of each battle, every unit gets 5 skill points that you use if you want to use any other skills than your basic attacks. It regenerates by 1 point every turn. Unlike a lot of tactical RPGs like Fire Emblem and XCOM, your soldiers aren't permanently dead if they fall in combat, so that's quite nice. While most battles will be simple kill all the enemy type situations, there's also different types of matches that you can take part in. Like a King of the Hill mode where you get points for the amount of time one of your units controls a certain area, have the most points by the end and you win. A barrel breaking mode where whoever destroys the most barrels before the time limit runs out wins. A point based mode where whichever team has done the most damage by the end of the time limit wins. And all kinds of special condition matches where you might be restricted from using certain units or have some sort of handicap. And strangely for a tactical RPG there's actually a multiplayer mode where a friend can take control of certain characters in battle, which could also be accomplished by just passing the controller around, but it's nice that they added this in. This was the main way I played the game when it came out, and it was kind of cool playing through it with a friend, mixing our styles together and kind of conferring on every move. As you adventure around the world's different regions, you can recruit new gladiators to your school by going to the recruitment screen that's at every arena across the game. Every arena has different units to offer you. Each unit can be rented if you just want them for one battle, but if you do this they'll be AI controlled in that battle, or you can just purchase them outright. Like in traditional RPGs, your characters level up as you use them in battle. Every time you level up you get job points which can be used for new moves for your characters. You can also get new equipment from the different shops in every arena, with helmets, shields, armor and weapons available. There's a great amount of variety in the different gladiators you can recruit. You have your standard barbarians and Romans as you would expect, but you also get a load of different monsters and beasts, which are my favourite. There's wolves and bears, satyrs, minotaurs, weird ape creatures called mongrels, and loads more. In every new region of the game, you and your motley crew must go around all the towns and beat each town's league tournament. When you go to a new arena, there's always a few different groups of battles to compete in, with you needing to earn a certain amount of points to complete that set. Each battle has a set amount of points that it will award you with, so you don't necessarily have to beat every battle to beat that set of battles, you just have to get the amount that that set of battles requires. Once you've beaten enough of these sets of battles, you'll be ready to take on that arena's main tournament, which basically serves as a boss fight. You just have to rinse and repeat this at all the arenas in the game, and this is pretty much what you do for the whole course of the game. Of course, as you complete stuff, there's more bits of story revealed then. You can also get quests from the arenas, towns, and random people out and about in the game's overworld, which can help spice up the gameplay a little bit. Sometimes when you're going around the overworld areas, you can get into battles. These battles are just like the battles in the other parts of the game, except for if your people die here, they'll be gone for good. Now, while this game has many great qualities, and I think it's a great game that's unfairly forgotten, the main gameplay can get quite boring because there isn't that much variance in the battles, and a lot of the more challenging battles don't come till much later on in the game. But it's definitely a perfect game to be played in 2 to 3 hour bursts, because once you've gone away and come back again, it tends to be fun again. And there certainly is enough content to keep you going for a good 50 hours or so. It certainly is a good time if you're into tactical RPGs. But most of the battles just boil down to using the light, heavy, medium triangle and just having higher level people. But at the end of the day, I guess that is most tactical RPGs. The little attack mini games do help add a bit of spice to the gameplay. The graphics in the context of the time aren't anything special, but they do get the job done, and the same thing can be said for the music. The story isn't the most gripping thing ever written, but it's fine. I mean, all you need is a hero on a quest to be the best. The voice acting, for the most part, is very well done, especially given the year it was made, where a lot of games in this era had some very wooden voice acting. This game, for the most part, does not suffer from that. There isn't a great abundance of console tactical RPGs from this time, so in that respect it's a very unusual game. It's a game that I would definitely strongly recommend for fans of tactical RPG games like Fire Emblem and Disgaea.